For this video I didn't really have any opening, so I decided to show you some imagery of us trying to find mysterious church ruins in the middle of nowhere. Now, it's very shaky again, and I can't really fix it right now, so apologies for any inconvenience watching it. For that reason we can't even show you most of it, sadly. So now we're in Dashkasan, in a place that probably doesn't see any tourists, like, ever. I think, like, to me it looks like there was a lot of mining in the past and the town might have been affluent, but now they seem to be run down very much. I'm not sure if there's any economy left, to be honest, which you might see right now, kind of. Yeah, it is kind of interesting to be up here, and it's really cool because there's no tourism. It feels like very off track, but it also feels a bit weird to be walking around here in more or less backyards, I guess, of people. I'm kind of happy that no one is around here. I'm not sure how people would react to random tourists walking in their backyards, looking out to the mountains. I was kind of amazed by the atmosphere this whole town had, though I can't really describe it, to be honest, other than you could really feel that money wasn't really a thing here anymore much. Thanks to the missing tourist infrastructure, there would have been no information on any sites, if there would have been any, so pretty much all of the time we had for Dashkasan we spent driving up different hills in hopes to find a good viewpoint to see the city from above. However, to get to the most beautiful viewpoint we had to go into a much more rundown area, and even had to cross a massive waste dump in which you could see children playing in between. While I still believe that this place is really cool to visit, I tend to believe that its citizens might need some help. But then again, I spent such a short amount of time there that I can't really judge it, and they might be just doing fine. When leaving Dashkasan, we actually stopped a lot on the road because there was a lot of old industry and mining stuff that was super interesting to see. But since we only had seconds each time and it was a really busy road, I couldn't really film anything, so I can't really show you any of that. And when we eventually got on our way to Lake Gölgö, I found something that sounded like an Armenian church on my map. And it was kind of weird because given the political situation nowadays, it's very unlikely to have an Armenian church in Azerbaijan. So we decided to stop there, and once you start walking to it, you can't really see it. It's so brown, it just looks like the hill around it, and you have to walk quite a bit until you can tell that it's actually there. And we also went up the weirdest way possible, so we had to go straight up the mountain, and we were extremely exhausted once we got up, so that was fun to do. There was a really cool graveyard in the background, which you can't really see too well on the footage, but I'm trying to show it to you in a way. And also the church itself was really cool. It had a strange atmosphere to it because it was so broken down. But then again it was interesting that it was still standing after all this time. The graveyard you saw a second ago is like falling apart. There's like graves all over the ground. They're like sinking into the ground. They're bones actually. I don't know any Armenian, so I can't really read whatever it says. I couldn't even read the letters, but like, it's very beautiful. It's amazing, honestly. Since I have no recollection of where exactly we were when we found that church, I cannot research anything about it, so I have no idea how old it is, why it's there, if it's actually even Armenian, and what happened to it. I'm just guessing here. I can't really say anything with 100% accuracy. And here we are on the last stop of the day, Lake Gölgö, which is like very beautiful. I love the way the trees get mirrored into the lake. It's kind of touristy here, but like all the people are from Azerbaijan. So to be quite honest, we get stared at quite a bit because we are the only ones that look like they're from somewhere else. It's kind of odd though, like you get children running next to you and then they say nothing and you're like, okay. But it's definitely a place worth visiting to my mind. There's also like other lakes, but they're quite a bit away. Also, this was very loud, so I have no idea if anyone heard me at this point anymore. But yeah, there's a lot of other lakes that we can't go to because it's first of all too late and then they're far away, so we wouldn't even know how to get there. So now we are in Bada at the Mausoleum and we arrived here like half an hour before, I think. And we came to these gates and we were like, oh, there's a lock. And then we were like, oh shit, what to do? Because it seemed to be closed. And then we walked around and asked like random people that didn't speak either English or Russian or anything really. They told us something, but in Azerbaijan, and like people still keep talking. Even though you say you don't speak Azerbaijan, it's like kind of weird, like what are you trying to tell me? And then we went into a supermarket where people just pointed away and we were like the doors closed, but they still didn't get us. And we got back here and it turns out that you just can open it. I'm not sure if it was locked, but if it was locked then it got opened like within the 10 minutes we were gone, which would be also kind of weird, so I have no idea. Sadly, Bada is one of the examples of those towns where you find a list of about 6 places to see, but when you get there, actually half of them don't exist at all. So for example, there was supposed to be another mausoleum, but the location was kind of in between houses, and on further research we realized that it's only underground and most likely closed to the public. Then there was another one supposed to be exactly next to the one we're at, but there's nothing, so that's not true. So in the end, even though the few places you can see in Bada are quite interesting, I would only recommend going there if you're actually on a road that goes there. So for example, when you're driving from Ganja to Baku, then it's absolutely worth it to stop in Bada. But if you're not anywhere close to it, then you probably can pass it. So we currently at an old mosque in Bada. Then again a situation where foreigners were very interesting. I guess they don't get a lot of tourism here, especially not like tourism from countries that are not Azerbaijan. So people were very interested in talking to us and some people wanted pictures with us and yeah, it was quite interesting. They were all quite lovely people. Like, it's been worse in situations where people were so interested in the weird German tourists walking around. This was more pleasant experience. We also got a bit of information about places we still had on our list that we might visit now because we know where they are. We'll see how well that will go. After looking at some ruins of an old bridge, we continued our eastward journey to go to the Gobustan National Park and see the petroglyphs there. And when we got to the entrance, some security guy explained to me in Russian that we should really go and visit the mud volcanoes, which you can't reach with your own car, but they have a driver that can bring you there. So we went with that guy and we tried to film it a bit. You can see how messy it is. It is really off-road, like you can actually not call it a road, and we wouldn't have wanted to drive on it with our rental car, so I'm quite glad we got that experience. This was one of the videos where the wind was so strong that even I couldn't tell what I was saying anymore. So I decided to just cut it all out and show you some shots of the most exciting volcanoes that we've seen. I'm aware this might be not the most exciting footage, but then again, mud volcanoes as a phenomena are quite rare. I've never ever heard about them before I went to Azerbaijan, so I thought they would be worth enough to get a few seconds of attention here. The mud that comes out, in contrary to actual volcanoes, is cold, and a lot of people use it for skin therapy, so you could go there and bathe in mud or put mud all over your body, and that's good for your skin, I suppose. We weren't gonna do that, but you're free to do so if you're there. And after having walked around for quite a short amount of time to my mind, we drove back to go to the petroglyphs finally. I again tried to film the landscape a bit, but that didn't work out as well as I hoped it would, so there's that. So we're currently in the second part of Gobustan, which is like a very ancient rock landscape filled with like petroglyphs, so like paintings on rock from people like thousands of years ago. And if you really focus on the camera right now, you might see them in the stone. It's very hard to show them, but it might work somewhat. So there's like another one here. While there weren't too many petroglyphs around that we could easily film, the whole area is just insanely beautiful to my mind, which is why I'm just including like half a minute of us walking around there, because the natural beauty of this area definitely needs more attention. So we've got another private hotel room now. It's the end of the day, we're like super tired, so I won't have that much to say, to be quite honest with you. We've like been in a quite nice restaurant. We wanted to film there, but the restaurant was kind of a club at the same time. I really have no words to describe it, but it was a bit loud. You wouldn't have heard a word because we had to shout with each other just to have conversations. So it's like, yeah, no. Not gonna work. We gave the car back. Now it's a new chapter of the travel without a car. It's gonna be different. Yeah, that's about it.